that connectivity kit will only be for the regular faculty, because during the board meeting, our commissioner did not actually, it was our intention to include everybody, but because of legal impediments, especially with COA, please understand that we really cannot provide the part-time faculty the provision of the connectivity kit. So, jokingly, let me just have it in a joke, guys. Ang first jud ko nung requirement for a part-time faculty is really to have that connectivity kit. Marabag, part of the question sa interview, do you have connectivity kit? So that will be taken in, ingon ana ang joke. But then, I understand the feeling. I know that we don't like to discriminate, if I may call it discrimination, but it's not also my point of pointing that out, that there is discrimination in the academe, but whether we like it or not, we cannot do it really because of COA's rules and regulations. So in fact, there was my proposal, which is still under discussion. It's still on the table that we in fact I suggested to increase 10 pesos per hour for the part-time faculty, so that the 10 pesos per hour can be used for the connectivity kit, somewhat like that. But it's still again under discussion, subject to available funds. So it's still within the lower level. I already have forwarded that to the Vice President for Administration, and I hope that will be positive. But meantime, our requirement for the part-time faculty is really to ensure that the dean and the chairperson, that that particular part-time faculty has his or her own connectivity kit. So that makes it clear now, Dr. Binoliro.
Yes, Sir Edwin. Thank you, Sir Edwin.
Okay. Um,
Go ahead, sir.
sorry lang gyud sa tanan, no, pero mao gyud na ang mahitabo, kay kita man pud ang magka-problema if we are going to uh, if we are not going to follow the basic COA rules and regulations. Okay, now the presentation this afternoon is just I would say a model or a sample presentation of a syllabus that is based from an OBE format. Um, Dr. Haka, Dr. Haka, who is the university director for curriculum planning and development, has been trained or had been trained in the OBE, about the OBE. And I understand that she has also been invited by uh, institutions of higher learning to talk about OBE. So uh, during our mini meetings regarding unification of syllabi, she has presented a very simplified OBE based syllabus. So she will be presenting in the afternoon, later in the afternoon, uh, the expected format, the expected type of the syllabus that we will be doing within the semester. I understand that each faculty assigned to do or to craft, to design the unified syllabus already produced or has prepared the syllabus without the sample yet. So don't just bear with us. The presentation is for modeling only, which will be done again during the training of unified syllabus on OBE unified syllabus. But meantime, while as I understand, as I've said a while ago, that while you already have produced your syllabus, which we call unified, we have to also take note that as we listen to Dr. Haka's presentation later on, we would come to self-assess that there are things that we need to adjust, that there are things that we need to refine, that there are things that we need to simplify. In the meantime, do not touch what you have done. Do not touch it yet. We will have to revise, we'll have to refine, we will have to polish the syllabi that we have prepared for submission to LMS. I already have an agreement with Sir Joe Comes that the thing that will be submitted, that will be submitting to Sir Joe Comes through my office, will still be uh, uploaded ba ang term? Uploaded. Yeah, uploaded to the LMS, but subject to modification while we are going to traverse the first semester of 2021-2022. So there will be a separate training, there will be a separate webinar, there will be a separate workshop regarding the modification, the correction to polish our ready-made syllabus. Um, I think I scheduled it tentatively this coming later part of September because we really we will not touch you in the first and second week of September because that's the orientation week and you have a lot of things to do. You have a lot of adjustments to do. Okay. Maybe on the third or maybe on the fourth week of September, we will start the training to polish our syllabi. And then later until siguro first 2 weeks of October, hope we could finish in the entire thing to revise and rectify what we have prepared. And then uh, maybe later part of October or early November, we will have to prepare na the real thing of syllabus that is OPE for second semester. So that's the plan. So I hope that you will bear with us when we are already challenged by the situation. Okay, and in fact, if I may also inform that the body that Governor Garcia has just released an, a resolution regarding those who are living in MGCQ and will go to the city. Like in my case, I am in an MGCQ in Liloan, and then if I go to Cebu City, I have a lot of things to prepare. I mean, we have to. It will start this coming Monday. It's really very difficult to go to Cebu City, but unless you have the permit, but there are requirements to comply. So that's the thing, no. So that's why we really cannot have the face-to-face this lecture with students. So it's full online. It's full online. And if you also have to look at CHED announcements and advisories, they are encouraging online. And in fact, there are even suggestions by CHED that subjects that need face-to-face will be offered in later semester. So that's it. The reason why I am pointing this out, because we have to make sure that the learning packages that we will be preparing out of the unified syllabus that we refer to will also be observant and mindful of the online delivery. Okay, so I think that's the information that I would like to share to the group. Thank you, Dr. Binoliro.
Yes, thank you, Sir Edwin. Another concern also, sir, on the side of the monitoring of the deans and chairpersons. I suppose there are some faculty nga murag wala kay na serious o apil aning mga aning training, scheduled trainings. the concern of some chairpersons and deans siguro ang pagmonitoran nila kung wala silang maka-appeal ani, what will be there should be siguro policy from your office throughout the university nga mandatory ni siya to use this LMS for our delivery of instruction. Thank you, sir.
There is already the directive that even the schedule that is released, memorandum regarding the training schedule, that's released for the university. So the implementation is already, or the implementation rests on the campus directors and of course the dean to really monitor, because maybe you can have it at your level first. You can call the attention of these people. There will be another seminar, another training, and they should be around, or else they wouldn't know how to go about it, how to navigate things.
Yes, sir. Muna concern especially sa mga ni facilitate ba. There are some
So
faculty nga wala
we have
gyud.
the attendance. We have the attendance. We'll just call the attention of the dean so that the dean will issue a memorandum regarding that.
Yes, sir, Edwin. Thank you, sir. Mag-issue
Ma'am
ng
Alma, Ma'am
memo.
Alma, Ma'am
Sir?
Alma.
Sir,
Okay na si sir.
naa si Sir Cortez, sir.
Okay. A moment. Kana na ang the presentation of Sir Cortez, the presentation of Sir Larry Gantalao did not pass through yet to the scrutiny of our curriculum, University Director for Curriculum and Development in the person of Dr. Haka. So it would have been better if Dr. Haka is going to be the first presenter. But anyway, my point there is, I'm not saying that the presentation of Sir Cortez is not okay or is okay, but that's the unified syllabus intended for a particular science or pure science, like a laboratory course. So what we would like to just present for other campuses to also have to also get to embrace the coverage, the topic coverage for the entire course. That's for unification purposes. But again, we will not touch it at this point in time, whether it is aligned, whether the learning outcomes are translating the program outcomes, whether the intended learning outcomes are also translating the course learning outcomes, because you have to also look at the program outcome that is being translated in the course learning outcome, and the course learning outcome that's also being translated in the intended learning outcomes. So bear in mind that our specific objectives, if we may call it before specific objectives, are the intended learning outcomes. And our general objectives are the course learning outcomes. So, dili kay ta magdaghan og maayo sa atong course learning outcomes, and much more with our intended learning outcomes, because we might not be able to accomplish everything. So, mo na nga tan-awon nato ang ILO ug ang iyahang kanang assessment task. So if this is that assessment task, ma-realize ba, ma-achieve ba ang ILO? Unya, what will be our teaching learning activities, the TLA, nga maka-facilitate po para makamao ang mga bata, so that the students will be able to realize the to perform in the assessment tasks in order to realize the intended learning outcomes. So mao na siya ang tulo nga very important curricular alignment. Mao na atong tan-awon. Okay? So can we now have the first presentation that's to be done? May I ask Dr. Pineda, somebody has to contact Dr. Pineda so that Dr. Pineda will contact, please. By the way, is Dr. Sayabuk around?
Isa, sir? Si?
Is Sir Wilson present? Kasman eh. Sir Wilson na.
Iyang buntag to siya, sir. Ay, ako sa pangitaon, sir.
Sige lang. If Sir Wilson is around, or Dr. Camelio is around, please, even Ma'am Alma, please contact Dr. Pineda, and Dr. Pineda will contact Dr. Gantalao and Dr. Haka, because time is of the essence. We promise to start at 4 o'clock. Okay,
Okay, sir.
thank you. So let's welcome Sir
Kinsay
uh,
mo talk una,
Sir
sir?
Cortez, Sylvester Cortez, for Pure Sciences Laboratory course. Sir Cortez.
Kindly chat sa account ni Sir Cortez, Sir Cortez, para ma-allow ka na ko, sir, og kuan, panelist. Sir Cortez. Isti Cortez. Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir, palikog ad sir
Okay.
para
Yes, yes,
makuha
yes,
sa
sir.
panelist.
Okay. Okay, Esti Cortez, go ahead. You
I-appeal
can
na lang po
share.
siguro sir si Doc Edwin
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. No
sa
problem.
panelist
Yes, sir.
para anytime maka-talk siya sir.
Ano, sir?
Ayun, na si Doc Edwin. Panelist na po kayo Doc Edwin.
Sir Cortez, wala pa? Esti Cortez. Ano? Okay naman siguro si Sir Cortez. Go ahead, Sir Cortez. Sir, you can unmute your mic and you can share screen nimo.
Thank you, sir. Huwag ta akong kuhaan signal.
Okay na, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Sige, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Sir Edwin. Let me share my my screen. So, can you see my screen, sir?
Yes, Sir Cortez.
Yes sir, yes sir.
Okay, thank you. So, um, Ma'am Christina Ramos and I were assigned to craft a syllabus for NATSA Elect 1, which is laboratory. On botany, both for lecture and laboratory. But we're only presenting here the botany, um, our our syllabus for the botany, for the laboratory class of the botany course. So let me just go directly to the course description of the subject. So botany deals with basic concepts of plant biochemistry, structures, functions, modes of reproduction, growth, inheritance, and evolution. So this course is specifically designed for the BA psychology students. And our goal here is, although this is a laboratory class, is that we want to create a holistic experience through despite being online. So we are requiring our students to create a portfolio of learning experiences by combining all the laboratory activities or the laboratory worksheets which they're going to perform. So we also integrate basic research and review articles as part of our course materials, because we know so well that it's very difficult to give first-hand data at this moment. So what we did is we're trying to incorporate those results or information we have available online. So for our course learning outcomes, it's not that too ambitious. I will just limit to four. For the first, we're trying to incorporate the subject with vision, mission, goals, and the vision, mission, and goals of the university. So for the second, we want the students to equip them with the basic concepts. Third, which is very important, is that we want our students to perform practical experiments relating to botany, even inside their houses. So finally, the students will be able to develop a portfolio of learning experiences to promote holistic rather than episodic form of learning in a laboratory class. So what we did here is that we dissect the whole course into course units. So of course we begin with the state, the vision mission of the goals of the university, and so we proceed directly to the basic concept. So how we arranged our syllabus, that in biology we always start with a cell, so up until we go to the tissues, to the organs, and then we involve the metabolic reactions which are happening in living things. Okay, so as you can see, here we start with the basic concepts. We introduce here the scientific methods, so on and so forth. So then we move to plant cell, and so the rest will follow from tissue to organ systems, then to those basic those two metabolic reactions happening. So I will just give you kanang one example, if how we try to align kanang everything. So I think I will focus in one course unit, but because wala ako good na preparing a lab sheet sa among unit 1, but we are done preparing with our kanang lab sheets from unit 2, because we handled these course before. So for the plant organ systems, we have kanang an array of topics. So we have leaves, the stem and roots, flowers, so on and so forth. So for our intended learning outcome, we only limit to two learning outcomes here. So one is to classify a dicot and a monocot plant with reference to the internal and external features of its organ system. Because when we talk about organ system, it already entails a lot of organs. So I said we have the roots, the stem, the leaves, the flowers, and more. So we also try to integrate research here. What are those stressors which will likely affect those organ systems? So, for example, one of the course content here is on the leaves, where the students will try to identify the morphology, the anatomy, the development, and so on and so forth of a particular plant organ, which is the leaves. So, we have here these lab sheet. Okay, so we know so well that during this time it's very difficult to perform laboratory experiments. So what we did is we tried to create we create laboratory activities which will be doable, practical, feasible, even without our guidance. So for example, for the leaves, we only task our students to focus to perform experiment on identifying or observing the external features of the leaf, wherein we'll try to ask the students about the scientific name of the leaves, its type, the types of its margin, the types of its venation, the phyllotaxy, the upper surface color, the lower surface color, and that way we'll be able to accomplish one of the objectives here, which is the students will be able to identify if that plant is a monocot or a eudicot, using this data from the margin up until to the colors of the leaves. Okay, so after that, we in this course unit we involve all organ systems. Okay, so those organ systems which I mentioned a while ago. Then for our assessment task, we did not make it on a staggered basis, wherein we'll just assess sa leaf nga parts. So what we did is we tried to create a holistic task which involves katong tolo. And by the way, before I forget, in one of our the second course outcome, or the intended learning outcome under the second intended learning outcome under this course is that we try to incorporate these research articles. So this is just a simple research article, um, which is understandable, I think, because we try to sort out those only articles nga does not involve sophisticated experiments, those simple articles, simple reviews, but we'll be able to accomplish our intended learning outcome. So After that, using these kanang ano pa these articles, we try to now create a holistic learning a holistic assessment. So one is that students will be able to identify what are those stressors, and and yes, to identify those stressors. And I think what yes, they will be kind of our assessment task here for the whole course unit is that the students will be able to just a brief article reflecting on their on their learnings from the laboratory experiments. So after that, we try to we present here the task. So we will have the usual, the virtual, the pre-lab discussion. However, it will be done online, performing the lab experiments. The students will be doing that at home. Then after that, there will be kanang reading of articles. Then they will be submitting their lab reports, and students will be assigned for kanang communicating the results of their kanang of their laboratory experiments. So these are the course content under these kanang course unit and under these learning outcomes, and these are our required required resources. So those includes gadgets, presentation software, so on and so forth. So for the references, mo ni siya ang among mga references. These are normally kanang mga it's a combination. Here wala video, but in most of our kanang kuan, it's a combination of crash course videos, um, review articles, and of course, very important are kanang laboratory worksheets. So in a course unit, we allocate a certain amount of time, and we divide accordingly accordingly the time into how much laboratory experiments that students will be going to perform. So this is the same throughout the throughout the other course units that we have. So again, we try to limit our intended learning outcomes per course unit, and um, and the assessment task is we align that with the intended learning outcomes and with our kanang laboratory experiments. So I think this is that's the one. As said, the experiments are arranged in in a spiral approach, wherein we start with the cell, then we end in a macro scale, which is on the evolution of plants. So that would be the last course unit, or the course that's the last kanang course unit or the topic that we're going to deal with in our laboratory class. But I think here, because it's very difficult to create a kuan, we just this is an exemption kaya wala mi akong lab activity here. We just try to let the students show watch a movie or watch a film which is related to the topic. Then finally, we will have a portfolio presentation, because what we did is for our laboratory experiments, in every laboratory experiment and every course outcomes and every artifacts which we're going to generate in our laboratory class, they're going to have a reflection per artifacts or per experiment or even test questions. Then we're going to create a one folder for our students where he or she can upload all those artifacts, including his or her reflections. Then at the end, there will be portfolio presentation. So it's sort of a reflection on what they learned throughout the course. dealing with those practical experiments, reading those articles, so on and so forth. Then at the end, we'll have our final examination. So it's very kind of it's very it's very actually taxing on our part because a laboratory will run for about 108 hours. That would be 6 hours per week. So this syllabus is prepared by yours truly and Ma'am Christina Ramos, and I think that would be all. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you. Thank you
Thank you.
very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Inay mo
Okay.
audio, Sir Edwin. Kusog-kusog
Ah,
ni Sir. So, mic like.
how about this one? Okay na?
Okay
Okay
na,
na.
sir.
Okay, so thank you very much. Sige. Now, can we go back to our learning outcomes?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, program outcomes muna. Program outcomes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, this was our agreement before during the time of the previous BPEA, Dr. Villaganas, of which I was also the Dean of Instruction of the university. Now, we agreed before that we have to take note of common to all programs, no? And then common to the social sciences. And why is it social sciences and communication? Because of psychology, correct?
Yes, yes,
Kay
sir.
psychology man eh. Okay,
Yes,
then
sir.
specific to psychology. Mo ni ato ang gihimo. So I have an arrangement with Ma'am Haka that we will follow this one. Will not touch about this at this point in time because faculty are already conditioned that we have to have this kind of presentation. But eventually, mausap lang niya ni later. Okay? Because we have to really just point out once we will map, then we will have to point out what particular program outcome that we are going to use. Okay? But meantime, na siya. Then, uh, this one, we have to pick out only applicable POs. Not all POs, not the how many POs are there. A, B, C, D, E. For letter A, there are five, and then A, B, C, 3, so 8 plus 4, 12 more or less. It's really very difficult to get all of them, no, to accomplish all of these. So we will just point out course learning outcomes that will be that will translate or cascade specific POs. Now let me check POs, CLOs now. Okay, how
Yes.
many course learning outcomes you have, sir? You have four.
Yeah, well, four, sir.
You have four.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
when you say, sir, relate the course to the vision, mission, and goals of the university and to the desired outcomes of the program, imo pa na siyang isulti din, ha? Not necessary.
Uh, sir, we intend one course unit for that, sir. This one, sir.
Yeah. All courses will have that. No, will
Yes,
really, that is the first part.
yes,
Unit
sir.
vision statement of vision, mission, goals of CTU and the program outcomes. Okay na na siya.
Yes, sir.
Pero sige lang, we will agree on that, no? But let us have the real thing. Let's have equip students with knowledge on basic concepts of botany and desirable attitudes toward plant conservation. um, when you say equip students with knowledge, I have also doubt with the word equip, but then again, do not change it yet. No, ako lang feedback lang ni. Now, for the word equip students with knowledge on basic concepts, kanang equip students with knowledge, pwede na siya ma-simplify into one very simple verb. But anyway, what do you mean by that if we refer that to PO? What particular PO will it translate? Sige ko no, sir. Tanaw na to. Like, because we have to put the PO man, equip students with knowledge on basic concepts of botany and desirable attitudes toward plant conservation, open close, parenthesis, PO number blank. Kung sa man, sir.
Okay.
Tanawon ko na to ang PO ni mo, balik ko na to dito.
Okay, sir.
Magsample lang ko ha, magsample lang ko.
Sige, sir.
Sige. look at the PO. What particular PO your CLO number 2 translates?
Kuan sir, the basic concepts would involve man to sir og katong mga that involves katong sa basics of botany. So we integrate ato mga research sir, research articles in a laboratory setup, which is very kanang which is applicable in sa man ni siya, I saw something.
Sir,
uh,
balik ta sir ha. Katubang
yes sir,
imong PO, CLO number 2 ba?
yes
Uh,
sir.
which PO does your CLO2 translate?
Sa man tong kuan, sir, wala, yes sir, no.
Asa kaya? Asa kaya? Mm.
um bitaw sir.
Ngayon ka, equip ba to? Equip the
Yes, sir.
knowledge, the basic knowledge of blah, 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 blah. So what is that? Where is it?
Yes
Is
sir.
it in psychology specific to psych?
Kuan sir,
Perhaps?
not totally aligned sir, because kanang maybe sir, I think we can have it kanang aligned with letter B.
Letter B,
Yes sir.
demonstrate and apply the methods of psychological inquiry
Yes
in
sir, but
building knowledge on local culture and context psychological research. Is that?
yes, yes sir, but not totally kanang aligned sir, kay sa murag psychology deals with the behavior of kanang human then.
So your course is basic, di ba? Because
Yes
that's
sir.
general ed. Correct?
Yes
General
sir.
ed na siya or major?
Kuan sir, general botany, I think wala ko idea sa kanang ko.
Sige, sige. So, because general botany is also a science required subject for BA psychology. So, basin og ma-relate po diha sa specific to psych or maybe on common to all programs.
Yes sir.
Tanawa lang asa siya makita. For example, sige, di asa na to pugson karon kay inyo pa man discussion na no. Oh, balik ta dito sir. Granting related siya sa CC, meaning C specific to psychology, letter C demonstrate sa to, letter B di ay mogingon.
Letter B sir.
Demonstrate and apply the methods of psychological inquiry in building knowledge on local culture and context psychological research. So you are going to put in there CB, C point B.
Okay
Sige ko
sir,
no.
okay sir.
We will put that there. Sample lang, sample para everybody will follow. Okay? So you have there equip, hay na to. Your equip natin. CLO, course learning. So moingon ka dito sa imong CLO number 2, equip students with knowledge, blah, 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 open, close, C point B, capital C point small b. That will represent the program outcomes. Note, okay, karon, what particular ILO, intended learning outcome, that justifies CLO number 2? Pwede lang siguro sir butangin og POC point B para maklaro. PO, capital P, period, capital O, period. Then C, sige anay para maklaro gyud. PO, then C point B. So that mag-guided tatanan, no? So ang accreditor inigtan-aw nag-align dai ka. Let's go to ILO. Kanang asa na makita nga ILO, what particular chapter, what particular unit, and what particular ILO
Okay,
that
sir. So this
that particular CLO can be pointed out.
This basic concept sir would involve no kanisa sir, it entails kanang from the scientific method up until sa last nga kuan sir, last nga course unit, because these are considered basic concepts man, like photosynthesis, ato mga plant organs, plant tissues.
Imo na siyang ibutang gyud diha ug asa siya napita. For example, if ILO 2, 3, 4, 5 sa butangan nimo open close parenthesis asa siya naigo. So you are sample lang, sample. For example, it's found in ILO number 3. So you are going to put CLO number 2. Sa pananglitan, explain the role, open close kaya CLO number 2. So yun ana atong pagbuhat sir, no?
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
Sige. And the rest of the panel, I mean the rest of the rest of the participants, please take note. Okay. Then if we look at your katoy mo explanation, ibalik ra gud nato to sir kato bitong unit 4, unit 4 ba to?
Unit.
Katong imo ganinang gi-align ngayon ka nga. Mao ni ako,
This
this is
one,
my
sir.
intended learning outcomes. Nga mao ni ako ang akong kanana ang assessment, and then mao ni akong TLA, teaching learning.
Yes,
Okay
sir.
na, unit
This one, sir.
4. Imo na siyang ingon nga to classify a sana eudicote,
Yes, sir. You like it, sir.
eudicote from monocote plant with blah 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 blah. So ang imo is the students will be tasked
Hello, Ma'am
to
Heights. Hello, Ma'am Heights. Good afternoon, Ma'am.
to write a brief
Hello,
article
Ma'am.
focusing on stressor altering and or affecting
Hello, Ma'am
plant
Heights. Di ko kadung
organs anatomy. So then, um, when they're able to write an article, does it mean they are able to classify eudicote from monocote?
This one, sir, related din siya sa number 2, sir. Na-realize na ko, wala may daig ka ng kuha sa number 1, wala may assessment task, ari, sir. This is for number 2, sir.
So imong usbon,
Yes, sir.
so reflect on certain stressor affecting plant organs, anatomy and morphology. But we say reflect, measurable ba ang reflect?
Kuha, bitaw, sir, no. I actually, ang gigamit na ko, sir, kang blooms pa, sir. I was, pagkatapos,
Why problema if you use blooms, pero when we say reflect, makuan bagod nato, ma-measure bagod nato ang reflect. So maybe it's just simply a word, no?
Yes, sir, yes,
Si
sir.
Dr. Haka in a short while will be presenting, will be giving you some suggested verbs, okay, to be used.
Okay, sir.
In the so kana siya nakita. Unya mauna to kung moingon ka to dito mag-essay sila, ma-identify na to nga ang certain stressor affecting plant organs, so klaro naman ka din ha, no? And then
Yes, sir.
your activity for that, prior to letting them write an essay or article, unsa may ilang teaching learning activities?
One will be kanang kuan, sir, reading articles related, ari, sir, and those kanang performed experiments, sir. Because that would involve man like extreme exposure sa sunlight, extreme kanang temperature, extreme temperature. Those are some stressors, man, sir. So they will put
So
it.
that means these are your activities that will prepare your students to be able to write an article.
Yes, sir, and these are found sa among laboratory worksheets, sir.
Kaya nga. So yun ana nato no pagsulti. So the TLA will prepare them, will enable them to write an article, so that when they will be able to write an article, they can come up, they can achieve the learning outcomes. Like if you say reflect on certain stressor, but maybe you are not going to say reflect, but write an article pointing out stressors, blah 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 blah, or that discusses about stressors, blah 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 blah. Because when you say write an article, there's already an outcome.
Okay,
The
okay, sir.
output, when they are able to come up with a written article, so na-realize na to ang gingan na to ILO.
Okay, sir. Okay,
So
sir.
ingon ana no, ingon ana ang dagan sa ato ang pagbuhat unya sa pag-revise nato sa ato ang syllabus. But as I've said, kani unified man ni siya, granting nga, pero usa ra man nag-offer og psychology ang kuan raman ang main campus, unless Tuburan will also be offering the same, so ma-share na nimo sa Tuburan. That's why I am requesting Ma'am Lynne sa apelyido ni Ma'am Lynne, Dr. Lynne from Danao,
Enriquez,
Dr.
sir.
Lynne Enriquez. Okay, because Dr. Lynne Enriquez is also preparing laboratory course syllabus for education. Danao is offering education, CTO Main is offering education, and then what else? Argao, who are the participants now, are also offering education. So maybe we also have to listen to Ma'am Lynne, just a sample, Ma'am Lynne, of alignment, Ma'am Lynne, prior to the presentation of Sir Gantalao, and then Dr. Haka will be the last presenter. Ma'am Lynne? Okay na ka, sir. Thank you very much, Sir.
Thank you po, sir.
Sir Cortez.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon once again.
Sir Binolirao and Sir Francis, I'm given the floor to facilitate.
Okay,
Sige.
sir.
Okay, walang po, walang
Go
problema
ahead,
po,
sir.
Doc.
Na-unmute na ako si Ma'am Christine.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ma'am Christine. Ma'am
Good
Christine.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Haka. Okay, so we now acknowledge the presence of our University Director for Curriculum Planning and Development. But we will we will have Dr. Haka as the last presenter. I already gave them I already orient them that we'll soon have a separate workshop where we can really go into OBE syllabus making. But in the meantime, whatever products, whatever syllabi that they have prepared for the unification thing, we will just go on with that, which we will be using during the ongoing LMS training for purposes of training. But soon we will revise some of those and polish some of those. Okay, but then we will be presenting the model coming from Dr. Haka's presentation. Okay, meantime, we will have Ma'am Lynne Enriquez. Wala pa? Ma'am Alma, wala pa ni mo makontak? Dr. Ahero?
Sir, na-contact na siya, sir.
Okay, so Ma'am Lynne,
Unsay account ni Ma'am Lynne, sir?
no idea. Lynne Enriquez from the now.
Palihog kog chat. I-chat ang kuha ni Ma'am Lynne.
Dr. Suladay, can you please facilitate, Dr. Suladay? So meantime, we're waiting for Ma'am Lynne. What about Sir Larry Gantalao? Dr. Pineda, we are also acknowledging Dr. Pineda's presence, our University Dean of Instruction. You said okay, so maybe Dr. Larry Gantalao is already present.
Doc, na-add na ko si Lynne Enriquez.
Sige. So we'll have Ma'am Lynne. Okay, we'll have Ma'am Lynne.
Sir, good afternoon.
Good
Nadungog na
afternoon.
ako?
Yes po,
Ma'am Lynne.
dungog ma'am.
Good afternoon, Ma'am
Ang
Lynne.
hapon.
Sir Pilapil, ang ako ang syllabus nga i-present. This is not actually mine. This is just one of the prepared syllabus for lab sa one of the teachers coming here from City Danao.
But Ma'am Lynne is, that's BS Ed Science.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sige Ma'am Lynne, go ahead because,
Genetic.
sige. I hope that other campuses are also having the same program offerings on BS Ed Science.
BS Ed Science, sir, is City Danao, Maine, and San Fran.
No Argao? No Argao?
So far, sir, murag wala.
Okay, sige. So, Argao, may I know from Argao, what do you have in your BS Ed program? Dean of Instruction, ma'am. Si Dean of Instruction or si Campus Director of Argao?
Unsa ang name, Doc, para nga makuha na to, ato ang makuha sa panelist.
Juanita Pinote.
Manita.
Or kinsa atong Dean of Instruction, Sir Binolirao?
At si Dr. Maria Cristelina Montañez.
Yes, Dr. Montañez. Sige, palihog ko na kung Dr. Montañez.
Unsay account ni Ma'am Montañez? Murag wala man, sir.
Walay Montañez, sir.
Wala.
Wala.
Iniya sigurong born tag.
Dr. Pinote, wala na apod.
Naapon. Na, sir.
Karon na as Dr. Pinote. Kaliho ko na ko Ma'am Pinoti.
Yes, Ma'am Pinoti. Duhom ni account ni Ma'am.
Kaning
Unmute
duha
your
to
mic.
ikaw, sir.
Unmute your mic, Ma'am Pinoti.
Sir Edwin.
Yes, good afternoon, Dr. P.
Makontak si Kuan, sir. Good afternoon. Wala dyan ako makontak si Sir Gantalaw, sir. Si Ma'am
Ma'am
Jet,
Heidi.
wala. Yes, sir.
Ma'am Heidi. Si Ma'am Buhol
Yes, sir.
Wapod.
Wala po, sir. Si Ma'am
Sige,
Jet,
sige.
hindi na makontak, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sige lang. Okay, thank you. Dr. Pinoti.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dr. Edwin.
Good afternoon, Ma'am. Ma'am Nitz.
Yeah, our in charge for the teacher education is Dr. Maricho Carion.
Yes, ma'am. Pero may I ask if you have, what do you have in your BSED program, ma'am? What majors do you have?
We have BSED Mathematics. We have BSED Mathematics.
BSED Math. So only that, BSED Math?
Yes, sir, Edwin.
So wala day sila yung laboratory. Sige ma'am, thank you. At least we know that we don't have BSED Science. But anyway, let's just go on with the presentation. Ma'am Lynne, just give us a sample. Maybe just a sample of one to point out lang ba alignment from the PO to just like what we did in our review before, to CLO, then CLO to ILO, and then ILO to assessment task, and then to the teaching learning activities. Ma'am Lynne, go ahead.
Sir, first and foremost, murag wala kay ko na ready for that task. However, I will just nga kay kani nga syllabus, sir, sa kuan dili ni siya ako lekto ang ako ang mga syllabus. So, nagkuha lang ko sa mga syllabus nga gisubmit sa ako, sir. So anyway, I will read one ILO. So the course is genetics, laboratory for genetics, and so I will proceed directly to ILO, sir, or I will read first the course learning outcomes.
No, because since there is, I mean, Argao, we are with Argao, and then Argao is not offering kanana ang BSED Science, so Danao is the only campus that's offering right now, who are present right now. So let's just go direct to the ILO, and we'll go back to which CLO and which PO that particular ILO justify or cascade or point out. Sige.
Okay.
Just have one sample muna. Ano lang ako sa Lynne, ILO, assessment, then TLA, kung nag-abot pa na silang tulo, din ato sang i-go back dito sa CLO and PO.
Okay, sir. So the first ILO here is list the observable traits that are passed from parents to offspring. Conduct an inventory of the observable traits that are inherited. So the assessment tasks are the following: online written assessment, students answer provided worksheets for laboratory exercises. Then for the teaching learning activities, self-learning activities, and then the laboratory activity, which is entitled Inventory of Common Traits Among Selected Individuals. So for asa ni siya nga CLO na belong, it is in CLO 1, describe the mechanism and processes governing transmission of characteristics, traits of an organism. And for the program outcome, let me see first. Siguro mabilong niya, sir, for number 1, articulation of the latest developments in the specific field of practice, and demonstrate mastery of subject matter or discipline. I think so. I think.
But in your program outcomes, Ma'am Lynne,
yes, sir.
Inyong gitingob, no? Wala mo maghisgot, wala ninyo gibutang nga katubitong para uniform ta ba, because what we agreed was to wapamanggutan nag-usab, no. This one will appear during the retraining or during the other workshop, but meantime para uniform ta, as what we agreed before, that we will not touch what we previously agreed, that we have to indicate all POs for common to all programs, common to the particular discipline, and specific to BS Ed Science. Di ba
Also,
mana dito?
sir, i-appeal dito ang tanan because I think
Mao to'y atong nasabutan, ma'am. Actually. Wa man ta mag-usab, di ba ningon ko nga dawa tay usbon usa para di magubot kay ug ako ni acknowledge karon ang uban nga humana magubot naman sadto.
okay. So dili
Di ba previously during the time of Dr. Villaganas, ingon ana man to atong gibuhat nga in fact kanina kung example ni Sir Sylvester Cortez, that for example CLO number 2 is let us say articulating PO number 2, so ibutang dito sa CLO number 2 nga open close PO number 2 nya ILO, for example a particular ILO, ibutang po na to which CLO does this translate maring ana bitaw. So ilista gyud nato based pero sige lang kung na-submit na ninyo for purposes of our online unification, sige na lang. But then we have to agree later on. Nagnaamang ko discussion ani sa mga meetings. Unya, wa siguro makaskaded po ninyo. Mo na nga, ayun anang istorya. Okay, sige lang. Okay ra ko. Mo na importante gid ang minutes sa meeting, no? Importante po nga ang mag-attend sa meeting, magsulat po minutes para makakascade po sila sa ilang mga tao. Dili kay mag Sige lang darling, wala mang I will not be blaming anyone, pero ang ato lang ng practice sa mga meetings sa usahay magud mga linga ang uban. Sige. So much for that. Sige, asa na talin? Asa tong imong gi-align, Lynne, anhin lang sa alignment sa intended learning, assessment task, o learning activities.
Kani si ILO, this is aligned to this CLO.
Sige.
Describe the mechanism and process governing transmission of characteristics traits of an organism.
Characteristic traits na, no?
Yes,
without an S.
Okay,
sige. And then?
That's for the CLO alignment. For the program outcome, murag na ating siya din demonstrate mastery of subject matter or discipline. O siguro kaning
pero Lynne, mangutana ko, di ba, naaman mo ani sample map sa kuan, Lynne? Sample map sa education. Murag ang education na may PPST, no?
Naa naman gyud PPST, sir, pero unsay mo ang gi-mean, sir, katong syllabus nga prototype nga syllabus?
Oo, di ba naaman mo nga murabag kada bang mo point out gid sa what particular PO nga ilang makuan? Naaman na sa inyohang sample? Wala?
Wala, sir. Sa CMO?
Wala?
Sir. Wala.
So, dili deti buok kadang education nag-map? Gimap man ang education og una man siguro? That's from CHED ba? Sample from CHED? Wala? Gina na mag-mapping sad na. Kana mapping na magud ni gisod na to ang mapping, gisod pud na to ang pag-syllabus. Sige Lynne, ari lang usa talin para mag-guided na lang ang tanan. Let's have the ILO, never mind with the previous lang. ILO assessment and then learning activities. Katubito ganina imong giingon nga hay nato ganina imong gi-sample sa genetics. Kana no. Okay. So mo kag self-learning activities. Unsa may sud sa imong self-learning activities nga makaingon ta ba, Lynne, without asking anybody, when we look at that part there, makaingon ta nga we prepare our students, the teaching learning activities, prepare the students to be able to answer, to be able to perform the assessment tasks. Because ang imong assessment task is online written assessment on what? on what. So we have to specify that. And then students answer provided worksheets for laboratory exercises. That is a general statement that we do not know. What are there in the worksheet? No? So murang ako ba nga ma-connect bitaw nato ang konsepto from the TLA to the tasks and to the outcome. Si outcome ningon man nga list observable traits that are passed from parents to offspring. And then conduct an inventory of the observable traits that are inherited. Dili ka na activity ng conduct inventory so that you'll be able to list observable traits. Right, yun na ba? Siguro we'll focus on one ILO, one ILO, unya ang activity imong i-prepare diri nga kung mag-conduct siya inventory, it's a practice for him or her to have that inventory after the self-learning activities on what niya mag unsa na siya mag laboratory activity inventory of common nara nag-inventory, nag-conduct siya inventory, ma-prepare niya para maka-answer siya sa online written assessment on that particular aspect or unsa man na diha. Ana ba? Makuha. So, nakuha ko, Lynne?
Sir, ako lang ni siyang ipang-highlight, sir, and I will feedback sa naghimo sa syllabus.
Katong pag-meeting na to, wa ni siya mutungalin? Katong naa si Dr. Haka?
Wala, sir, kay selected kuan lang ba to, sir, ang naa sa meeting.
Sige, i-feedback, Lynne, kay ikaw may overall dito sa science, no?
Wala, sir, kanang ako lang.
I-feedback, palihog. So, any comment, Dr. Haka, for this?
Yeah. Hi, sir. As agreed in our previous meeting, I have emphasized that we will follow the same pattern from what had been agreed during that meeting for the first part, like the introductory part for the first day of class, like the orientation part. So I think there was already an identified ILO that aligns with the assessment task and TLA. But I think the one reflected here and in the previous presentation did not actually follow what had been agreed. But I understand that that is supposed to be applied by next SEM pamanto, sir, no? So, ang kini lang siya, sir, because I think ma'am presented last time and then it was another syllabus and this one is also another syllabus. So that's the concern